All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Money Monday. Bear with me 1 second while I share this to my wall as per usual. I got some, today's going to be a pretty fun, there we go. Make that big and share. Yep. All right. Today we got I think it's a pretty fun topic, because guess what? New Year is literally less than 2 weeks away. I'm so excited to be here, though. We got working internet. I know we've had difficulties for the past few weeks. We've got working internet now, so I'm so excited to be able to share all this stuff with you. I love Money Mondays. I love being able to share this knowledge with you guys. So before we get started and jump into what do we do with the new year, just a couple housekeeping items. We got a lot of great events coming up in January. How I learned to stop worrying about inflation. It's going to be an online event. It's going to be entirely about inflation. Right now, inflation's hit like over 6%. Which is really high, in case you haven't been keeping up with headlines. What that means is that prices are going to be going up for you. So how do you keep the real threat that ends up happening is you lose purchasing power because you have a certain amount of money, and then over time, that amount of money buys less and less and less. You might have heard that phrase, $1 million doesn't go as far as it used to. That's very true because of inflation. So how can you protect yourself from inflation? There's a couple different ways. My boss, Bob, is going to be walking me through those. It's going to be on January 20th at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. The week after that, we're going to have an event called How Did We Get Here? American Consumerism. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be one that me and Chris are going to be leading. It's going to be on the 26th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be taking a look back historically at the path that we've taken since the Great Depression, how we got out of the Great Depression, how consumerism became not just a part of our culture, but also important for our culture, because economically we were poised to go right back into the Great Depression. So how has that affected us? It's just really fascinating. But on top of that, aside from just the historical perspective, we're going to be able to share stories from people that we know. People have shared stories with us that we're going to be sharing with you. So that way we can put it into a little bit more context. So it's not going to just be history. We're going to actually get to hear about what going through those experiences was like, going through those decades was like. And on top of that, what lessons can we take from then and apply them to today? Because there is so much to learn from that, especially times like stagflation. What can we learn from stagflation? Things like that. History has so much to teach us. But that's going to be for January. For now, we're not in the new year yet. Let's talk about the new year. As the new year comes along, a lot of people end up making a lot of new goals, New Year's resolutions. And something that ends up happening, you might be familiar with this, where people make the New Year's resolution, I'm going to get in shape, they say. And then they go to the gym. 2 months later, the gym membership is completely unused. There's a trope with it. There's a whole lot of stuff revolving that. It's where like gyms make a whole lot of their money, because then they are basically getting the subscription fee that people forget to turn off, and the gym has to do basically nothing in order to get that fee. So how can you make sure that you're always going to be getting your money's worth from that gym? It's going to be what we're talking about. It all boils down to goal setting, making sure you set the right goals. And it's got huge applications when we're talking about finances too. Remember what I said, what the New Year's resolution people have. I'm going to get in shape. Why? That doesn't end up pushing people through the entire year. Why? Because it's not very specific. What does in shape mean? I ran into this years ago when I went to a gym. At one point I was like, I'm going to get healthy, and I walked in and they asked me, they were like, well, what are you looking for? Do you want to tone up? Do you want to get bulk? Do you want to develop cardio? And that's what, and I had no idea. I just said, I just want to be in shape. And wouldn't you know it, I went to the gym, and it wasn't until I had a specific goal that I wanted to get in shape for a very specific event. And I knew I had to get cardio specifically for that event so that I could keep going. That was what gave me that specificity that I needed in order to keep going back. So I knew what to keep doing every time that I went there, and so I could measure my success. So one of the most important things when you're creating your New Year's resolution, you want specificity. You want to get as specific as possible. It's not just get in shape. It might be, I want to lose a couple inches off my waist. It might be, I want to lose a few pounds, a specific number of pounds. Be specific with it. And although I will also offer this caveat that, weight is not necessarily the best indicator of health. You might want to get your blood pressure down to a certain level. That would be fantastic. You might want to be able to say you can run a 5K without stopping. Like that is a very measurable thing. Run a 5K without stopping. You know exactly what that looks like. You know exactly what success is going to look like. So when you're writing down your New Year's goals, you want to be as specific as you possibly can be. Try to make it something you want it to be measurable too. Because otherwise, if you once again say, I want to get in shape, oh, let's get more specific. I want muscles. That's still not very specific. But if you say, I want my bicep to be X amount of inches around because of my muscle there, that's when you're going to be able to have a goal that you can actually reach. This is, like I said, this is incredibly important when you're talking about finances too. Why? Because otherwise what ends up happening is that the goalposts keep moving. And this is a very dangerous thing in finances. You start doing well, and then the goalposts start to move. You start going, oh, I'm feeling more comfortable. But you know what? I wish I had $100,000 more. Oh, but you know what? I wish that I had $1 million. Oh, but you know what? The goalpost starts to move because it's always possible to look off into the distance. So an incredibly important thing, that one of the things that I work with a lot of clients on is making sure that you know exactly what your goals are. What do you want? What is going to make you feel happy and fulfilled? Not only is that going to help you keep you on track the best, it's also going to let you know exactly, help with decision making in the future. Because if you got to make a choice, if you know what's going to make me happy is to be able to afford to go to Rome, to visit Rome and have a big plate of pasta, of Italian home-style pasta in Rome. If you know that's your goal, then spending a lot of money on like a new car, which, it looks nice, but that's not going to be what is going to give you the most bang for your buck. Going to Rome is, whatever your specific goals are, your goal might be something completely different. Be sure you are specific about it. You want to make sure it's something measurable, something you can point to. And this is going to be the next part, you want to identify how that's going to make you feel. This is incredibly difficult for us here in the States because there's something about our culture that we do not take ownership over our feelings very well. But this is incredibly important. You don't want to just say, I want to get in shape. You don't even want to say, I want to be able to hit a 5K. To run a 5K without stopping. Be specific about how that is going to make you feel. What emotion are you driving toward? And the reason why is because ultimately everything in the way that our brains work, everything comes through our emotional part of the brain even before it hits our rational thinking part of the brain, which is pretty cool, I think. So you want to identify exactly how is that going to make you feel. Identify that emotion. And then your brain is going to be able to come up with the justifications for why you're going to stick with this plan throughout the entire year. And you want to run that 5K because when you see the look of pride in your daughter's face, you're gonna feel powerful. You're gonna feel warm. You're gonna feel respected. You want to eat food in Rome because when you do, you're gonna feel adventurous. Get specific. How is that going to make you feel? And even try to identify where in my body am I going to feel that emotion. Really think through it. Imagine yourself there. They do like a visualization exercise of being like, what am I going to feel like when I actually achieve that thing that I want so badly? Really imagine yourself there. Identify even where you feel it in your body. You feel pride maybe in your chest, but you feel like adventure in your gut, something like that. Identify where you feel it in your body, make it viscerally real, because that's going to cement it even more into your nervous system, which is I think a pretty fantastic thing that our brains do. We do this already when we really want things. It's if you ever think back to a time when you've successfully achieved something, your brain has probably done this already on a lesser scale. Athletes do this before every single race, before every single competition, before every single game. They visualize not only like what am I going to do with each stroke, but how is that going to feel at the end? This is what professional athletes do to help them power through when the difficult moments of the game, when it's getting the toughest. Things are going to get tough next year. They always do. Identify that emotion that you're really gunning for. Finally, you're going to want to break it down into steps. It's not just, I want to run a 5K and that's it. You want to break it down. Before you hit that 5K, I want to be able to run 1,000 feet without stopping. That's it. I want to be able to run around the block twice without stopping. Identify those steps in between. Those are going to be your measurable things so you can see I'm doing progress. Once you can feel yourself making progress, that's going to cement in your body. Your body's going to get more dopamine and you're going to feel more successful moving forward. Again, let's turn this all back to finances. This is so important because a lot of times people go, I want $1 million. Okay. Why do you want $1 million? That's an incredibly important thing. Once you get down to it, money is, think of money as potential energy, but money is not everything. The money is the potential energy that helps you achieve the things you really want. What is it that you really, really want? Think through that, get specific. That's going to help you identify things you don't need along the way so you can really gun for that thing that you really, really desire. How is it going to make you feel? Identify that feeling. That's going to help you overcome those hard times because there will always be hard times. There's always going to be temptation, especially in our culture. Again, you can learn why in our online event next month. How did we get here? The American consumerism. There's always going to be temptation, distractions along the way. Identify the feeling that's going to power you through. And finally, you're going to want to break it down into steps. You're not going to just suddenly jump to $1 million in the bank. There's going to be steps along the way, and you need a way to measure those steps and benchmark your progress so you know that you're doing well. Ultimately, those are all things that I help people identify. If you can do it on your own, that's fantastic. But if you need somebody to help you identify exactly, be that voice going, what is it that you're really gunning for here? What is it that you really want? I spoke to somebody the other day and I asked them, like, what do you want? And they said, I want $1 million in income. And I said, okay, what is that going to get you? And they didn't really have an answer for that. They said, oh, it's going to be a money that's going to be going around in investments and businesses that I own and things like that. And I said, okay, but what is that going to get you? What is that $1 million going to get you? And it took a long time in order to unearth exactly what do you want? Turns out a lot of that wasn't actually income that they were thinking of. That was just an arbitrary number that they had thought of. But once you can get a very specific number, for me, it would be wonderful if we could if me and Molly could get to the point where we have $100,000, I think it was, we would have so much more than we would need. But $100,000 in income per year from investments, we would be golden. Why? Because we would take a couple camping trips. We would be able to go visit family. We would be able to treat our friends to dinners. We have already identified exactly what we want, what we would do with that money, and we've identified exactly how it would make us feel. This is what I have to help people through in the process, in the financial planning process, identifying exactly what you want. How does it make you feel? Great. Now we know that is our drive. How do we get there? Let's break it down. Instead of trying to go from here to here, let's go boom, 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 boom. Let's take those steps. Let's watch that progress. Let's enjoy the journey while we're doing it. This is going to be a fantastic year. It's 2022. There's still so much going on in the world, but we are 2 years removed from probably one of the darkest times that we've all gone through together. And that's the thing too, we've gone through it together. We're all still here. You're watching me here, and I hope you know that I'm there with you in spirit. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy Christmas. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy New Year. Whatever your New Year's resolutions are, whatever your goals are for this coming year, I want you to know that I believe in you. You got this. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful day. Bye.